standing right before you. Yet good time seems so far and few. I've begun pretending not to see an ending, but it's all a coming end of you. So hold me now, hold me fast, pretend it's not gonna be the last time that we love. Hold me like we love forever. Hold me now, I can't believe we're making our last memory. It's not enough. Hold me like we love forever. It seems that you've grown tired of the one you once desired, but I've not wanted none but you. Oh, do you think you could find a way to love me again someday? There's nothing else that I can do. So hold me now, hold me fast, pretend it's not gonna be the last time that we love. Hold me like we love forever. Hold me now, I can't believe we're making our last memories. It's not enough. Hold me like we love forever. And now it seems all that's left are dreams for arms to hold. I'm holding on, but the love's already gone. So hold me now. Oh, so hold me now, hold me fast, and it's not gonna be the last time that we love. Hold me like we love forever. Hold me now, I can't believe we're making our last memories. It's not enough. Hold me like we love forever. Just hold me now, hold me now. Just hold me. Hold me close and hold me fast. This magic spell you cast. This is la vie en rose. When you kiss me, heaven sighs, and though I close my eyes, I see la vie en rose. When you press me to your heart, I'm in a world apart, a world where roses bloom. And when you speak, angels sing from above. Everyday words seem to turn into love songs. Give your heart and soul to me, and life will always be la vie en rose. And when you speak, angels from above. Everyday words seem to turn into love songs. Give your heart and soul to me, and life will always be la vie en rose. Walk along the city streets you used to walk along with me, and every step I take recalls how much in love we used to be. How can I forget you? There is always something there to remind me. Always something there to remind me. When shadows fall, I passed a small cafe where we would dance at night. And I can't help recalling how it felt to kiss and hold you tight. How can I forget you? When there is always something there to remind me. Always something there to remind me. I was born to love you, and I will never be free. You'll always be a part of me.
That's a little tough.
keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. For good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for.
Your eyes in the morning sun, I feel you touch me in the pouring rain. And the moment that you wander far from me, wanna be in my arms again. And you come to me on a summer breeze, give me warm in your love. Then you softly leave, and it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to learn, 'cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. I believe in you. You know the door to my very soul. You're the light in my deepest, darkest hour. You're the savior when I fall. And you may not think I care for you when you know down inside that I really do. And it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to learn, 'cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. I believe in you. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? I really mean to know. 'Cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. I believe in you. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? How deep is your love? How deep is your every single day, every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you. Oh, can't you see you belong to me? How my poor heart aches with every step you take, every move you make, every vow you break, every smile you fake, every claim you stake. I'll be watching you. Since you're gone, I've been lost without a trace. I dream at night, I can only see your face. I look around, but it's you I can't replace. I feel so cold and I long for your embrace. I keep crying, baby, baby, please. Can't you see you belong to me? How my poor heart aches with every breath you take, every move you make, every vow you break, every smile.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to inform you that our program will start in a few minutes. May we kindly request our participants here to please observe our AITF health protocols. Kung maaari lamang po ang aming mga participants po dyan ay we occupy po the seat, one seat apart. Maraming salamat po and magandang umaga.
Every breath you take,
would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would you be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven.
Nandiyan na? Okay.
So, anong oras na magsisimula? Late ba si Imee? Kaya hindi pa tayo lista. Hindi kasi very
Announcing the arrival of the Honorable Senator Imee Marcos with the DENR Secretary Jim Sampulna, together with our very own Director General Charito B. Plaza, MNSA PhD. Ladies and gentlemen, please settle down. Magandang umaga po, good morning, and welcome to our program this morning. To formally begin, may I invite everyone to please stand up for the invocation and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem.
Our Heavenly Father, the fount of all goodness and grace, the cause of wisdom, the source of intelligence, we welcome you, O Lord, to this auspicious gathering of your beloved, who continuously give you thanks for every opportunity to learn something new and become fruitful to the works of your creation. We humbly come to you, not because we are worthy, but because we find ourselves in need of you. It is our strength and our hope to continue despite the challenges we face in health, prosperity, and our solidarity with one another. We pray that today's gathering, made possible by the grace of advancements in technology and social media, become successful in its endeavors, so we can offer it back to you as our humble offering to honor you, glorify you, and love you through our deeper connection with everyone. May we find bliss in today's session and become more productive children and co-creators of the earth. This we ask and pray through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Bayang magiliw, pelas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng mag-ibig, sa manlulupi, di ka pasisihin, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong butaw, manilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kisag ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na naglilinig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di manilinig, lupa ng araw ng at ipagsinta, buhay namin sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
A most marvelous Tuesday morning to us all. It is our distinct honor to welcome you to the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between PEZA and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, DENR, with our very, very special guest of honor, the Honorable Senator Imee Marcos. I am Raison Arubinto of the Promotions and Public Relations Group of PESA, and it is my honor also to be your program facilitator for this morning's program. To kickstart the first part of this event, let us hear the welcome remarks of no less than our visionary, strong-willed, ever dynamic, and multi-awarded for her leadership, Director General of PESA, Brigadier General Charito B. Plaza, MNSA, PhD. Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you. May I greet our beloved and distinguished guest of honor and speaker, the Honorable Senator Imee Marcos, DNR Acting Secretary Jim Sampolna, Yusek Adobo is also here with us, and other top officials of the DNR, our partners, our industry association partners, and our foreign chamber leaders. I saw Chito Saldariaga of the FILEA. This is the Association of Ecozone Developers of the Philippines. We also have Dan Lachica, Dr. Dan Lachica, the president of CEFI. We also have from the IBPOP, President Jack Madrid, and the officers, Celeste Ilagan. We have Mike Montero, and other distinguished leaders. Maxine is also here. Of course, Tess of Conwep, and all other industry partners with us today. My Deputy Director Generals, Teo Panga, Attorney Nori Tanyag, Jing Afable, the PESA family, and the DNR family. Welcome to today's momentous event. So we are now witnessing, or we will be witnessing soon, the signing ceremony of the Memorandum of Understanding between PESA and the DNR in the utilization of timberlands, agricultural lands, mining lands, and the national tourism or the natural tourism sites, which we are going to convert to various economic zones, such as agro-industrial, agroforestry, mineral processing ecozones, and the ecotourism special economic zones nationwide. Creating different types of economic zone is the program of PESA, so we can protect the environment and locate the appropriate industries and enhance the responsible use of the land and its natural resources. So this is PESA's way of fully industrializing the country, yet protecting, not destroying our environment. PESA, as a self-reliant, self-sustaining, and a resource-generating agency, has to be creative, resourceful, and enterprising, because we don't get any subsidy from the government. We have to create sources of income for the salary, the maintenance, the operating expenses, the capital outlay, and for our projects and programs. And so we can attract investors, create jobs and livelihood for our people, and we contribute from the net profit, 50%. We remit to the national government in terms of dividends. So we also initiate the development of the lands, both public and private lands, to become ecozones. empowering the LGUs and the Filipino people who become enriched, empowered, and every Filipino become entrepreneurial. We also aim to make the Filipino workers as multi-knowledge, multi-skilled, and world-class workers. Hence, PEZA would like to share our achievements as we continue to be the highest contributor to export income. Like 80% of the export service income shared by the IT BPOs comes from the registered industries of PEZA, and 60% plus of the export income from commodities and goods, which comes from CEFI, manufacturing, refinery, assembly, and other industries registered with PEZA. So here we see the performance of PEZA from 2016 to present. We now have 416 operating ecozones nationwide. We have 3,557 locator companies. We now have a total of investments of, can you go back please to the first slide? Total investments of 4.36 trillion pesos. Exports 933.835 billion US dollars. And our employment is now 1.8 million directly employed. Investments we have in the Duterte administration for 5 years. We gathered an investment of 807.8 billion pesos. The exports we gathered in PEZA, 300.6 billion US dollars. We have 105 newly proclaimed PEZA ecozones under the Duterte administration. 82 are IT parks and centers, 18 are manufacturing, 4 are agro-industrial ecozone, 1 is medical tourism. And I'm very glad to share with our friends and partners in PEZA that the 50% net profit of PEZA starting 2016 to 2021 during the Duterte administration. We remitted a total dividend of 5,611,028,918. And we paid corporate income tax of 2,889,464,497. So we are 8% higher. In just 5 years, PEZA during the Duterte administration increased its dividend 8.5 higher compared to the total dividends for the 21 years under 4 administrations. In the GDP, PEZA also contributes 17% in our GDP. This is as of 2020, and I mentioned that 64% of the Philippine exports of commodities and goods comes from PEZA's industries, and 80% of export service income to the markets all over the world also comes from our IT BPO industries providing service, export service worldwide. So in today's MOU with DNR, this will be followed by a MOA signing for every region where production areas are identified to become or to be converted into different types of economic zones as PEZA's transformational roadmap in creating environment-friendly industrialization, creating green, sustainable, and smart economic zones, which we also designed into townships where the investor, locators, and the ecozone workers shall work, live, learn, and play. PEZA's host LGUs become models of economic development and social progress, where poverty, crime incidents, and even insurgency went down. because the constituents are provided with jobs and livelihood. Thus, PEZA would like to replicate this nationwide. So today's MOU signing with the DNR is a major step to realize our goal of creating a self-reliant, self-sustaining, resource-generating, enhancing the production capability, our manufacturing capability, hope to build smart towns, digitalized cities, and export-oriented Philippine economy. So we thank the DNR, Secretary Sampolna, for sharing the same visions with PEZA. And soon, we will see new types and different types of ecozones nationwide as we partner with PEZA and with the DNR in attaining total development and the Philippines as an investment destination of Asia. But it's not just fully industrializing, but we have to restore back the glory when our country was used to be called the tiger economy of Asia during the administration of the late President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. And we hope that with this partnership of PEZA and the DNR, and of course the private sector, we will really work hard to restore back this glory, being a tiger economy of Asia, with the incoming President-elect, Bongbong Marcos. So we thank also Senator Imee Marcos for her presence today, despite her very hectic schedule. She really loves PEZA. If you notice, every time we celebrate our anniversary, our Investors Recognition Day, the good senator is always there. So in the last celebration, for example, binulong ni Senator Imee sa akin. Sabi niya, Manang Ching, we will celebrate the next anniversary and Investors Recognition Day in Malacanang, which used to be every year during the time of the late President Marcos. Malacanang talaga sinicelebrate, no? So we will restore back that same momentous occasion, celebrating our anniversaries and industry or Investors Recognition Day in Malacanang. So we thank Senator Imee. She is really the most appropriate to be invited as our guest speaker today because she is not only the chairman of the Senate Committee on Economic Affairs, she is also our staunchest supporter, who protects, defends, and fight for the cause of our industries and of PEZA. So, and of course, she is to be the presidential sister. So, tamang-tama po, your presence, Senator Imee, is really we really feel great and honored that despite your hectic schedule, you really find time to be with us today. So there are many concerns of our industry sector association, Senator Imee, and we thank you for voicing our sentiments. We have read in the papers how the good senator has fought for us, especially in our sentiments and challenges on the work from home, the VAT exemption that the BIR is supposed to remove already from us. Nevertheless, we had the good news coming from the president of IBPAP, Madam Senator. Our industry locators have been harassed by surprise inspections of the BIR, and then threatening them to pay penalties for violating the 100% on-site work, etc., etc. So the good news is because of your voice, Madam Senator, and the voice of PEZA and our industry associations, BIR suspended their inspections, no? Their audit of our locator companies. No? So that's a good news. So we thank again everyone for sharing the in the fight for the cause that we are seeking for. So again, let us work together hand in hand to think global and act local. Thinking global is we have to work hard to be a big contributor to the global supply chain. At the same time, address our efficiency factors to attract more investors, to lower the cost of doing business in the Philippines, and to enhance further the ease of doing business in the country. So I thank likewise our industry sector leaders for your vigilance. I'm always saying, let's not be afraid as long as we are still in a democracy. We should be able to speak out. We should be able to be listened, no? Not just heard by our leaders in government. But we are very positive that with the leadership of President-elect Bongbong Marcos, this is going to be a very investor-friendly administration. And we thank that we were able to survive, especially at the height of the pandemic, with all the cooperation, support, and assistance extended by our industry locators. Madam Senator, we are happy to tell you that our 416 economic zones are COVID-free. So we continue with our quest in attracting more investors, especially in the countryside. And this is exactly the contents of the MOU now with the DNR and PEZA, as we look forward of making productive all the public lands where we will put up the agroforestry, agro-industrial ecozones, mineral processing ecozones, and ecotourism ecozones. So we will put a stop on our being import dependent, but grow an economy that is self-reliant, self-sustaining, resource generating. So again, thank you so much for your attendance today. Thank you, Honorable Senator Imee Marcos. You are really an inspiration to us all. Mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Ma'am DG. With your kind indulgence po, ma'am, we would like to request you to please stay on the stage for the introduction of our guest speaker. And of course, we would like to request at this moment our Deputy Director Generals, Attorney Nori Tanyag, Sir Teo Panga, Ma'am Jing Afable, and Group Manager Alim Siddiqui Gyapal for a very quick photo of to formally award our citations to Director General Plaza for us as the Best Economic Zone Promotion in Southeast Asia 2022. Allow me to read the citation. Certificate of Award for the winner, Philippine Economic Zone Authority, PEZA, for Best Economic Zone Promotions in Southeast Asia 2022. We would like to humbly request our very special guest, Honorable Senator Imee Marcos, and Acting Secretary Jim Sampolna for the group photo op. Uh, may we request Yusik Adobo, may we request everyone, Yusik Adobo, please join the group photo. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ma'am, Ma'am DG. Yeah, so Ma'am DG, we'd like you po to please introduce our guest speaker very briefly. Thank you very much.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor for today is the chairperson of the Committee on Economic Affairs, who has championed development in the countryside by sponsoring a total of 13 economic zone bills, in addition to various proposals to promote and enhance productivity in agriculture, including Senate bills for the emancipation of land tenants and providing support to local farmers through consolidation and capacity building. In addition, she also supports the extension of the work from home or the hybrid work arrangement. We hope to be more enhanced in the next administration. And so, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us welcome our very hardworking, amiable, Economic Affairs Committee Chairman, Senator Imee Marcos.
Thank you very much. Please take your seats. I don't need any introduction. Suking-suki na ako ng grupong to. So maraming salamat sa ating mga kaibigan. Most of all, of course, Director General Charito Plaza, who's been ably representing us. We congratulate her on winning the award. That is an international award for Southeast Asia. We're extremely proud of the accomplishments of both our Director General as well as the entire organization of PEZA. Congratulations also to Deputy DG Tereso Panga, DG Norma Tanyag, DG Jing Afable, all the deputies. Congratulations. Of course, we also greet our Secretary Jim Sapulna of the DENR. Extra lang ako, sila naman talaga may papel dito, as we know well. The Chambers of Commerce have come all the way out early in this Tuesday morning of Canada, represented by Mr. Roger Pimmel, the Nordic group of Jesper Svenningsen. I think I just murdered your family name, but excuse us, please. For the Japanese Chamber, I think Mr. Tomohiro Koseki is also here. Thank you very much. As well as the different groups ably represented as usual by Dan Lachica of SAPI, Marites of Conweb, Jack Madrid of IB Pop, Celeste Ilagan IB Pop, Francisco Saldariaga for the Ecozone Group, Elizabeth Magsaysay Crebasa of the ASEAN Business Council. I think there are too many friends and associates to mention. Good morning to everyone. It's a joy to be here. Once again, we sign a very important MOU between both the DENR and the PEZA. We know that land holdings have been a constitutional question that has hovered over our heads for many, many decades. And this is one way of finally bringing foreign investment to the countryside, ideally also to agriculture, to timberland, and to our marine resources. So this is most important also in the very controverted mining sector. While the increase in PEZA space in the country is a major development, we are also fully aware of the challenges that face us in the decades that will follow. Firstly, following the pandemic and COVID and its many mutations, we know that sustainable development will have to be part and parcel of every effort. Certainly, build in the next administration needs to become a 2.0 iteration. It needs to expand to green infrastructure, to our much decried digital infrastructure or lack thereof, and also of social infrastructure, that is to say health and schools that are wired and ready for remote learning, as well as the pandemics and bizarre infections that appear to be following hard upon each other's tracks. There is also a need, as we see it, to free up private agricultural land as well as public land from the restrictions of the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program by finally condoning the land of the farmers and through the World Bank split program, converting what are presently CLOA or communal certificates of land into individual titles so that they are actual business assets that can be commercially traded and sold. Today, we have 50 years of the Agrarian Reform Program and my father's PD 27, 50 years must make it the oldest agrarian reform program in the world. Ang tagal-tagal na, yung iba 14 anyos, yung iba 10 taon, tayo mabot na ng 50, wala pa rin. So I believe it is time that we should finally facilitate the use of land as a true asset in the self-improvement, not only of farmers, but of the entire rural community. That way, we provide access to funding, to capital, and even to markets. Consolidating land holdings will open up huge tracts to block farming, agri-ventures, and even simple contract growing. And this will certainly be a boon to the countryside. There is also a need to consolidate the rules of tree plantations. We know we are far behind. We are quite derelict in this aspect, to provide regulatory clarity to potential investors in tree farms. Doing so will clarify the property and tenurial rights of the private sector and finally allow trees to be planted as produce and harvest and a commercial quantity. And with just 1 million hectares for tree plantations today, the industry can potentially generate up to 20 billion US dollars in revenue very, very quickly. Also, the lifting of the mining ban through President Duterte's Executive Order 130 last year, there is still a need to clarify the tax status of mining activities, ensure their compliance to many of our sometimes conflicting mining laws. PEZA should continue to look at the possibility of establishing mineral processing zones, such as we see in Indonesia and throughout Southeast Asia and Asia, in order to wean the country from being a mere ore exporter, particularly in these days of rare earth and rare mineral scarcity. It is most important that we realize that we are, in fact, the 5th most mineralized country in the world. It gives me pause as well as great pleasure to hear the new NEDA chief, my neighbor from Ilocos Norte, RC Balisacan, say that we will once again put a priority on manufacturing that has all but disappeared in this country. It is about time. In the great trinity of the economy of agriculture and services, we have somehow forgotten that third part, that most important part of manufacturing, where true job generation will finally occur. In closing, let me merely say that the environmental social governance, or ESG investment, has become the measure of everyone. We know that we have gone from corporate social responsibility efforts, or CSR, to random versions of shared value. But today it is ESG. There is no investment that violates the environment and does not enhance our ecology and biodiversity. Neither is there any environment or forest or mine or coastal area that can be sustained if it is not commercially viable, or at least of great advantage to the community in which it is located. So ESG indeed. And I am certain that all of us will go towards this direction, as we are certain the next administration will. We look forward to your further cooperation. And as they said, as the SAP or the super ate ng Pangulo, ako'y nagpapasalamat po sa inyong lahat, sa inyong tangkilik, suporta at tunay na pagmamahal. Mula noon hanggang ngayon, hindi pa ninyo kami iniiwanan. Maraming salamat to our investors, our exporters who have stood the test of time and remained with us through many decades. Thank you. Mabuhay ang PEZA. Mabuhay po kayong lahat.
Thank you very, very much, Honorable Senator Imee Marcos. With your kind indulgence, Puman, we would like to request you to please stay on the stage for the awarding of our humble token of appreciation. We would like to request again our Deputy Director Generals, Attorney Tanyag, Sir Teo Panga, Ma'am Jing Apable, and the PPRG Group Manager, Alim Siddiqui Imgyapal, for the awarding of the tokens. Allow me to read the citation. Philippine Economic Zone Authority presents the Galing Pinas PEZA Investment Promotion Partnership Award to Honorable Maria Imelda Josefa Imee Marcos, Senator of the Republic of the Philippines, given with sincerest appreciation of the assistance and support to PEZA programs on ecozone development, investment promotions, project policy, and legislative actions to fully industrialize and promote the Philippines as an investment haven in Asia. Given this 24th or 31st of May 2022 at the Double Dragon Plaza, Pasay City.
We also will ask our good senator to give to our President-elect BBM the plaque that we are supposed to give him last anniversary, and the other mementos for the President-elect. Sige. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Can I ask our industry leaders, chambers, if you still have some sentiments to to ask the good senator? O Dan, sige.
Puro textmate ko naman yan eh.
Oh, sige Dan.
Madam Senator, new information po ito. First of all, thank you for being our great supporter. Lalo na yung sa BIR. It's not just the BPOs that were affected, even manufacturing companies. Now, what I'm about to say is fresh off the press, and there are a lot of concerns. And what's happened is, I guess, capital flight na. We have about 5 companies already, and to the tune of about $3.2 billion. They've moved to Vietnam, Thailand, China. Well, when I move, I mean, instead of investing in the Philippines, they've invested in their other sites. No? And there's another 400 million and about 15, a total of 25,000 workers that we may lose. And among the concerns would be like the BIR audits, the inconsistencies, but I think as we all know, the reduction of local income tax is good, no question about that. But as you know, the incentives rationalization really is, despite the belief of certain quarters, it's really, really detrimental to investments. The other thing also is with FIRB, basically has reduced the effectiveness of PEZA under the able leadership of our DG, And so even say the work from home issue or the approval of incentives, that has a major impact, negative impact on the investors. The perception of corruption, the inconsistent policies in the previous government. So, and I will send you the materials to your office, to Biko in your office, just to give you the details. But what I wanted to articulate was, these are $3.6 billion, 25,000 workers that we could have had. And so we would again knock on your door and DG Chings to help us.
I'm at the risk, Dan, of being very dismissive. I really have to go. But what do you ascribe this capital flight to? I mean, I understand you said create, you said the BIR, the inconsistent political legal framework, and so on.
Like I said, I'll give if I were to rank in order priority, it's the incentives rationalization, it's the threats of government regulations that are detrimental, work from home,
Sure.
the BIR audit,
Okay.
the BOC issues.
Right.
So I'll send you the details, ma'am.
Sige, okay. After all, these are not problems that are unfamiliar or new.
Yeah.
We've been talking about them for a long time. The issue is to find solutions.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's try and barrel into the causes for said capital flight. But I'm aware that this is a problem and we need to solve this together.
Thank you very much
Sige,
again.
thanks, Jack. Yeah, I'm going to really have to leave. I'm sorry.
This is going to be very short.
Yeah, Jack, what's
Senator.
up?
I want to thank you for all the work that you do in advocating for a clear, consistent work from home hybrid policy.
Yeah, David Leach is not talking to me anymore, and neither are other real estate developer friends. They're gone. They're so annoyed.
But our investors would really appreciate, a very black and white clarity on this in the form of an FIRB resolution, just allowing
Yeah.
us for this 70-30 that we've been working hard for. So
I
that's what we
understand,
appreciate.
Jack, and I think while you're saying that we should have a black and white policy, you'll have to help us. The reality is that it needs to be addressed in a more nuanced way. We can't just say 30-70 for absolutely everything under the sun. So please help me try to carve out the niches that must urgently be even as high as 90 and the other areas where we really can confine work from home or work from anywhere to lower percentages so that we don't kill all real estate development, hotel and restaurant, shopping and malls, and so on. Maybe while we want it to be black and white, we also want it to be more precise and detailed, allowing for greater flexibility as well, because this is all an experiment, not only in the Philippines, but I'm sure as well for the foreign chambers and our foreign locators. Everyone in the world is struggling with the right way to do work from home and work from anywhere.
Thank you very much, Senator.
Thanks so
Listening to
much,
the
Chad.
voice of the employee, we will certainly craft that
Yeah, Senate
nuanced
just,
argument.
yeah, I have to go because the Senate just declared there's no more hybrid. I was much happier working from a farm in Ilocos, but what to do? I'm a victim as well.
Thank you very much, Senator.
1 minute, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, Marites.
Marites, I can send the details, but there are two rulings, the BIR issues and the create. It's really creating havoc. These are details. I can discuss that separately. And we're really having a problem now on manufacturing because of the regional tripartite wage board.
Because of?
The wage board increases.
Oh,
In
okay,
some
okay,
regions,
yeah.
we're going 10-14%. It's really keeping us away from the loop of ASEAN data. So we're just requesting a little, reprieve.
Right.
If this can, those are the concerns of
Yeah.
manufacturing garments.
Okay.
Because mom, in some regions, it's 14%, and we're
Yeah.
and the exporters are looking at 5-6% increase based on the inflation rates of the region. So
Yeah, I
it's
was a little bit surprised by the blanket increases as
Yes,
well.
ma'am. It's too much.
A little frightening.
And I'm already sensing some in Cebu. There will be some cut down of
Yeah, I
employment
heard the
already.
MEPSA people complaining.
Okay.
That's right.
Thanks,
Yeah.
ma'am.
I have lots of relatives in Cebu, as you know. Okay.
Thanks, ma'am.
Thanks.
Thank-
Yeah. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank our special guest for this morning, Honorable Senator Imee Marcos. We'd like to request our audience to please stay for the rest of the program. We shall be witnessing the MOU signing in a while. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Please be seated as we move to the next part of our program. Again, requesting everyone to please settle down as we move to the next part of our program. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Moving forward, we shall now be witnessing the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between PEZA and the DENR. We'd like to request the following officials to join the MOU signing as part of the witnesses. For the signatory from the DENR, we have the Secretary Jim O. Sampulna, PhD CESA 1. For PEZA, we have the Brigadier General Charito B. Plaza, MNSA, PhD, Director General of PEZA, signed in the presence of Attorney Ernesto D. Adobo Jr., CESA 1, DENR Undersecretary for Legal Administration, Human Resources, and Legislative Affairs. We also have the Attorney Michelle Angelica Go, CESO 2, DENR Assistant Secretary for Legal Affairs. From PEZA side, we have Mr. Tereso Opanga, PEZA Deputy Director General for Policy and Planning. We also have Mr. Manuel D. Cortero, PEZA Department Manager for Ecozone Development, as well as Attorney Vincent C. For the operations group. And of course, joining on the stage, our Deputy Director Generals as well. May we request GM, Attorney Henry C. Vincent C. Sorry. Sir, if you may join the group on the stage. Thank you very much po. So the MOU shall establish partnership between PEZA and DENR to pursue the establishment of special economic zones and potential areas within the jurisdiction of DENR that are suitable for development as agro-industrial, agroforestry, mineral processing, and ecozone tourism. We'd like to request as well our technical team to assist for or on the photo op. Congratulations to both parties for entering this partnership to enhance the competitive of the country and in reviving the Philippines to become once again the tiger economy of Asia. Now, as we have signed this partnership, let us hear a special message from DENR Acting Secretary to be formally introduced by DENR Undersecretary Attorney Ernesto Adobo. Yusek Adobo to please introduce our Secretary of the DENR. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Good morning, everyone. Distinguished guests, DG Plaza, my boss, Jim O. Sampulna, fellow workers, a pleasant morning. I'm up for a very difficult job. This would be my first time to introduce kasi normally kailan may clearance yung sasabihin ko. But anyhow, he is not a new guy in our department. He's been with us since 1977, around 45 years ago. That's when he first was first employed by BFD. He'd been from the lowest executive office, no? Nag-Senro, nag-Penro, call it Penro, and then during the time that we were sectoral, they did this, the organization is sectoral. He was with the land sector, where I was also in. We've been together in the field. Buti-buti na lang. Kasama ko si Sec Jim. Kung hindi, wala akong masasabi at baka sibak ako after the introduction. So I guess you will have already a grasp who the guy is. There's no nook in the department that he doesn't know about. He is the longest staying, by the way, official in the department. For 45 years. And he'll be soon be celebrating his dito ko yata delikado 65th birthday on June 2nd. Thank you.
Advance happy birthday, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to Secretary Jim Sampulna.
Thank you very much, Yusik Jun. Mga empleyado ng DNR, mga barkada ko na yan lahat. We grow up together. I started as tree marker in the DNR, for your information. A tree marker yung pinakamababa na position sa DNR during the time of President Marcos. Yeah, DG Plaza. The DG is Brigadier General by profession, in reservist. I'm only a colonel. I have to salute you. He is a Brigadier General. Friends of PEZA, industry leaders. I mean, so I should always remember that Yusik Jude is always with me. And his group, including Director Paranada, As it go. Bismillah. Good morning and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm happy that I am seeing Muslim besides you, ma'am. There are lots of Muslim I saw with you, and it's an honor. They can be trusted, and they can be helpful to you. It is my esteemed honor to represent the Department of Environment and Natural Resources on this very momentous occasion. We at the DNR, through science-based strategies, have unceasingly sought for ways to enhance our existing programs and projects in accordance with Philippine development plans and goals. Through the years, the Philippine government has recognized the critical role of the environment and natural resources in the sustainable development of the country, and its significant contribution to the economy cannot be overstated. By establishing special economic zones that are suitable for development as agro-industrial, agroforestry, mineral processing zones, and ecotourism zones, we foresee revenue generating opportunities that will create employment for our fellow countrymen and attract foreign investments for the country's economic recovery. As the agency responsible for creating an inventory of potential areas that are viable for development into special economic zones, we will not compromise in ensuring that the ecological integrity of the environment is preserved, including sustained biodiversity and ecosystem services. Therefore, we have jointly decided to pursue the immediate development of proposals for the Caraga region because of its greatest potentials to contribute to economic development as the timber and mining corridor of the Philippines. We welcome this partnership with the Philippine Economic Zone Authority with high hopes that it will trigger more collaborations in the future that will further contribute to the country's economic development program. With that, ladies and gentlemen, mabuhay po ang Pilipinas. Like Senator Marcos, I have to leave because I have also a meeting right now with San Miguel Corporation. So I'm sorry if I cannot stay longer.
Thank you very much, Honorable Secretary Jim Sampulna. If none that it matters po, sir, I am also a Muslim, and thank you very much for acknowledging that particular matter. At this point, we'd like to present to you, dear Secretary, our humble token of appreciation. May we request the PEZA officials, again, Deputy Director Generals and GM Alim and GM Attorney C, and of course, the DENR officials, Yusek Adobo, ASEC, and the rest of the officials of the DENR. We would like to acknowledge as well Engineer Patrick Nicholas P. David and Attorney Eric Emmanuel C. Passion of the MTD Philippines. Sir, if you are with us in this auditorium, please occupy the seats in front. Thank you very much. Again, congratulations to PEZA and DENR. To our industry players and associations, and of course, our media partners, please be informed that we will have a press conference in a while. Acknowledging the presence of our media partners, we have Ms. Loela Desiderio, Philippine Star, Rumina Pablo, Portal Calls, Miko Octave, Business World, Roy Canivel, Inquirer, Andrea San Juan, Business Mirror, Hotel Campus, Manila Standard, and all our media who are joining us virtually and physically here in our auditorium. For the press conference, we'd like to request the officials of DENR and our Deputy Director Generals to join the Director General on stage. We would like to acknowledge also the arrival of our friend, Sir Tamayo of Perpetual Health. Sir, good morning po, and good morning to your team who are with us this morning. Ma'am and sirs, good morning po. And our friends from MTD as well, we would like to recognize you again. Okay, before we begin our press con officially, we'd like to request our group manager, Alim Giapal, for the introduction of our special guests. All right, reminding our friends and colleagues here who may have questions to please prepare your questions for either physical or via online. Our technical team will be here to provide you the microphones once you are being recognized to speak. And please state your name and your agency. And of course, our industry leaders, if you have questions po, our press con will be starting in a minute. All right, we begin our press con. First, we have a question from our media who are here physically. We have Ms. Andrea San Juan of Business World. Business Mirror. Good morning po.
Good morning. Good morning, ma'am. So I'm Andrea San Juan, trade reporter for Business Mirror. So I only have a few questions. First is, how many EcoZone applications have already been approved so far? For under your watch, EcoZone.
we presented this earlier. The performance of PEZA under the Duterte administration. So you can see in the screen, we have 105, a total of 105 newly proclaimed economic zones. So there are 82 IT parks and centers. We also have 18 manufacturing, 4 agro-industrial ecozone, and 1 medical tourism. So also under the Duterte administration, we had 807.8 billion pesos investment, export income of 300.6 billion US dollars, and PEZA being a self-reliant agency with no subsidy from government, but we remit 50% of our net profit. So from 2016, under the Duterte administration, PEZA was able to remit 5,611,028,918. So we are actually 8.5% higher in the dividends contributed to the national government, higher than the past 21 years under 4 administrations. So despite the pandemic, of all the investment promotion agencies who were asking the Department of Finance for some subsidy, like BOI, Clark, Subic, and all other ecozone authorities and IPAs, were given subsidies by the national government, except PEZA. So it was only PEZA who did not ask for a subsidy, but instead we remitted 8,500,493,415. Is that 8 billion, 500,493,415 to the national coffers. So we continue to contribute 64% of the Philippine exports on commodities and goods, and 80% of export services to markets all over the world. So the 80% is the export service income contributed by our ITBPOs. So, and then in the GDP, PEZA's industries and ecozone developers, we totally contributed 17% of the country's GDP. So again, we thank our industry locators, our ecozone developers for the continuing trust and confidence given to PEZA.
Thank you, ma'am. However, I still have 2 questions.
Okay.
What incentives would you recommend to the incoming administration in terms of attracting investors?
Under the CREATE law, there are already incentives provided. So in PEZA, we will be recommending additional incentives, especially for strategic and big ticket industries that will be located in the countryside. That's why we are preparing in this MOU the different public lands suitable for agroforestry, agro-industrial, ecotourism, mineral processing economic zones. So I'm glad that our industry partners are here. Filea, for one, with the President Chito Saldariaga is here, because we're going to invite them to partner with PEZA in developing these different types of economic zones, so we can attract different types of industries to locate. Okay, so this is indeed a very landmark partnership, so we can fully utilize the production areas of the DNR nationwide.
Can I ask another question?
Okay, please.
Any update po on the 70-30 work setup sa BPO? Like, has
Yes.
the FIRB already granted your request?
Okay, that's a good question. We have been sending letters to FIRB requesting for a status quo, meaning we continue with the hybrid scheme, especially the 70-30 that PEZA issued since 2017. So in other words, itong work from home, hindi lang ngayon. we started giving the letters of authority to our RBEs since 2017. And then in 2018, the Telecommuting Act was passed. So it even increased the request for hybrid scheme, the work from home scheme. No? So nung nangyari yung pandemic, PEZA simply make to or increase to 90% from 30% work from home ratio, we made it 90%. So kami yung nagsimula talaga dito sa work from home, no? So unfortunately, wala pa kaming sagot sa FIRB doon sa aming status quo appeal. And then the BIR accordingly were doing surprise inspections, telling our locators that they're going to be facing or paying penalties for violating the order of 100% on-site work, no, and so on and so forth. And we are happy that Senator Imee Marcos defended us, our industries, and she is one big voice who also requested the Department of Finance, the FIRB, for a status quo and to be sensitive, no, to the needs, the sentiments of our registered enterprises, because we are still not off from this pandemic. We still are facing the effects of the Ukraine war plus the global recession. No? So we're looking forward that in the next administration, the work from home will be institutionalized to include already the security of tenure, the protection, and other benefits of the workers who will be under the work from home scheme. Okay, so ilang araw na lang, no? So we are even suggesting that we put everything on a status quo, so it will not affect the legacies that the Duterte administration will leave us, no? Keeping the faith, keeping the trust and confidence of our investor and locators. Yun lang. So we're glad that the BIR listened. Accordingly, they are now suspending their surprise audit and surprise visits to our locators. So we are looking forward that it will be printed black and white by the FIRB that we are now observing the status quo and look forward that the next administration will really institutionalize the work from home arrangement.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Do we need any other
Sir?
follow-up on that?
We have another question po from online. It's regarding the PEZA-DENR MOU. So they're asking what are the identified areas in the Caraga region that have been identified already, given that it is the pioneer area for the MOU?
Yes, I'll ask Assistant Secretary Michelle Go, the chief of the DNR Legal, to answer. And of course, Undersecretary Adobo, who happens to be the member of the PEZA board.
Okay. Initially, we're focusing on, this is for the industrial tree plantation. Then we call it IFMA. This is a piece of land. It's huge. No? It's more or less 170,000 hectares, which contract has been rescinded by the government. So it's an open area now. And another one in Agusan area, that area which was under nasipit lumber, yeah, and some operating mines, no, but that's why if you notice, we started with an overarching document first, which is memorandum of agreement, and that this will graduate into another document, a specific agreement, no, memorandum of agreement covering specific areas. So from the mining sector, we're looking at would be operating mines in Nonok Islands. I guess that's already there are, it's an established economic zone also, no? Because I understand the company that won when it was bidded out would want to put up a state-of-the-art processing plant. No, these are some of the areas in the island of Dinagat. Perhaps we have initially identified some. We call them MPSA, no, or about to expire MPSAs or expa areas. In the early 2000, the entire Caraga, no, the department issued an administrative order designating the region, Caraga, as our timber corridor. So it would be very logical to first embark into this activity with PEZA in Caraga region. And there are a few, if you really wanted to know, there's a list with the DG, but initially we're looking also in region Mimaropa, for example. I guess it will, most of us would remember, there was a government corporation that was created by, it was during the time of President Imee, which was abolished. No? They were supposed to develop the former Yulu Ranch in Coron, that's a big area. So PEZA and DNR is looking at that area also. So there are a few to name, no? But details of this would be available at PEZA. I've given them all the details of the specific areas that we can immediately embark on the activity. Thank you.
May I enhance further the highlight of our MOU, no? Actually, we agreed with DNR for them to identify available production areas in every region. So initially, it is Caraga region that is ready, no, that is ready with their list. And one goal also is for us to restore back the wood industry, because Caraga region happens to be having the biggest timberland in the country. It has also the biggest mining lands in the country. So to put the goal of creating environment-friendly industries and green, sustainable, and smart ecozones. So ito yung gagawin nating mauna, yung sa Caraga region. So to follow will be other regions. No, we actually have received already the suggested areas, public lands suitable for agroforestry, agro-industrial, mineral processing ecozone, and even ecotourism. No? So these are the 4 types of economic zones where we will be inviting the corresponding industries, no, to locate, to invest, and to bring back or restore back these major industries under the DNR. Okay. So maybe Go can mention about the lands in Caraga.
Thank you, DG Ching, Yusek Adobo, Theo. Caraga region is the pilot area for a soon to be crafted memorandum of agreement between PEZA and DENR This is because, well, as already mentioned, the development goals of the region is so-called FAME, okay? They are encouraging fishery, agri-forestry, mining, and ecotourism, or FAME, as already mentioned. And so because of that, we are already in the advanced stage of identifying the potential ecozone areas in Caraga, and there are 7. Just to expound on what Undersecretary Adobo mentioned, we will be covering the areas that are not listed here, but we are hoping to forge a MOA within the administration of President Duterte, no, before June 30. In Agusan del Sur, as already mentioned by Yusek Adobo, there is an IFMA area there. It's called Shanalin. And there's another one is in Esperanza. It's called FIPA area. And then there's another one in Agusan del Norte. It's called Dantawan Ecotourism Park. Las Buenas Car. I can give you the list later. And we also have areas in Surigao del Norte and Surigao del Sur. Okay. These are CBFM areas. These are agri-industrial economic zones areas. This is just the initial list for the Caraga region, but as explained earlier by Yusek Adobo, we are still looking at other areas. We will be reviving the economic zone in Nonok Island, and then we're looking also at the Pickup area, as well as the Nasipit Lumber Company areas. And you will be invited soon when we are done with the technical specifications for each area. So very excited, DG Ching, to forge the MOA on this specific area soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ASEC Michelle, DG Plaza, and Yusek Adobo. Before we, just to echo what has been said, there is going to be an instrument in a form of MOA, or Memorandum of Understanding, to flesh out further the recently signed MOU that we have today. Okay. With that, the specific plans will be there in that MOA. Moving on, we'd like to acknowledge first also our participants who are with us today, Mr. Johnny Dayang, Chairman Emeritus of Publishers Associations of the Philippines, and Mr. Juan P. Dayang of Tempo Balita. Now, from our industry partners, do we have any concern, comment, question, or any thoughts that you'd like to share?
Hi, sir. We would be having another question from online. Someone asked, what would you best recommend to the government and BIR regarding the removal of VAT exemption on local supplies, utilities, facilities, logistics, services providers, etc.? I know, ma'am, this is a contentious issue at the moment regarding the removal of VAT.
Actually, it was already addressed by the House Committee on Ways and Means, no, chaired by Congressman Salceda, and we're happy because the membership or the members of the committee are on our side, meaning they want to preserve the VAT exemption as enunciated or provided by the CREATE law itself, no. So the message is very clear to the FIRB, the Department of Finance, where BIR is under, no, that we should continue to honor the VAT exemption incentives, because it is clearly written in the CREATE law, and then in the IRR, it even provided that our existing industries and locators are have to enjoy that these incentives, to include the VAT exemption up to the sunset years provided in the law, no. So yun, ano lang, siguro mga ego na lang. That's why I don't know what will be our approach, Dan and Jack and everybody else, kasi ayaw makinig.
All right, thank you.
Anyway, we're making noises. That's why Senator Imee, Congressman Salceda are actually with us, no, on this fight.
What we did, ma'am, is because we explained to BIR the impact, not just basically what's going to happen is the multinationals will just import the materials. You're going to lose local businesses, you're going to lose employment, but they maintain that, well, they haven't uh, revoked that position. So to answer your question, we're going to ARTA. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Okay. Go to ARTA. Oo nga naman. Teo.
Yeah, if I may add to what was already stated by DG Plaza, I think in the last hearing of the Ways and Means, there was a categorical position by the chairman saying that the IRR of the CREATE actually went beyond the intent and spirit of the law, and therefore the IRR being made as a basis for crafting the RMCs would appear that these RMCs are flawed and void from the beginning. In fact, with the incoming administration, we'd like to request them to revisit and reconsider our position that on the VAT exemption, it was a big mistake that the BIR rendered ineffectual the cross-border doctrine because the separate customs territory status vested on the eco zones was never repealed. And it's not in keeping with the best practice of the eco zones free ports worldwide, where the selling point of eco zones is how they're able to bring in goods tax and duty free. And it's not right that we should be putting a cap even for 17 years because eventually our locators will not be viable with their operations in the Philippines the moment we receive this tax and duty free importation privilege. The other one is on the even the 10 years sunset period. I'm sure the locators will bring this up with the incoming president. With 10 years, I don't think they will be viable as well with that because by the time they will graduate to the regular income tax rate, the rates in ASEAN countries would have been a lot lower. So unless the Philippines is able to achieve an income tax rate parity with the rest of ASEAN, then we can agree to these companies graduating to the regular income tax rate. Thank you.
Thank you, DDJ Theo. I think there's a follow-up comment from Sir Dan. But before that, allow us to acknowledge first the presence of our guests, Mr. Charlie A. Liu, Chairman of the Philippine Wood Producers Associations, and Mr. Darlene Basingan of NNA Asia. Go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, DG Theo. The other problem is the way the MC stated, the VAT exemption will be honored until the end of the transition period. However, it doesn't say explicitly that if you're still in ITH, you will get the other 10-year transition extension. So basically what it's saying is VAT exemption only to the point of your ITH. But what we're doing, and again, in an AmCham meeting, we decided we're going to put all together our suggestions for legislative changes, including the incentives rationalization. Because basically, we want the independence of PEZA from FIRP. Like I said earlier, they're basically defanging and minimizing the effectiveness of PEZA under your able leadership, like I said, Mom. So we're going to put all this together. We'll give you a copy, and then we'll submit it to whoever wants to listen, the cabinet, the senators, and all that. So it's not just the VAT, it's not just the work from home, but it's all the changes we want to propose. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dan, for the information of our industry partners, foreign chambers. We wrote a letter to the incoming DTI Secretary, Pascual, to have a dialogue with him. So before he can frame up his economic agenda or what, at least he can already hear our sentiments and our suggestions for the economic agenda of the next administration. So we'll advise you when the date is going to be. Yeah, that table.
Thank you, DG Plaza and Sir Dan. I think we do not have any more questions from the audience. But before we end, do we have any final message from our principals, Ma'am DG, and the rest of the officials that we
Very
have?
short.
Thank you po.
We envision the areas that we have initially identified for this undertaking. Like the permitting requirements, no? For example, ECC, it would be covered by a programmatic ECC where any locator who would want to do business there could immediately hit the ground. No? DNR, who gives the permits, would be, I cannot call it the applicant also, but together with PEZA, perhaps we'll just identify who would the proponent be, but that's basically would be the trust in this area that we already identified. Permits from the LGUs, for example, no? That has always been the problem of the industries. No? If it's the national government that applies for the permit covering the area, perhaps that will make life for the industry, for the locators easier. No? So thank you. The DNR is 101% supportive. Of course, we're one of the party into the agreement in this undertaking. So again, good morning.
Thank you, Yusek. If you will notice in the MOU, no, those public lands under DNR's management includes timberland. No? Do you know that we have 15 million hectares of timberland in the country? No? Agricultural land, we have 9 million hectares. Mining lands, almost the same, no? 9 million hectares. So most of these have to be utilized properly. So that's why we introduced the ecozone approach, the PEZA way, no, of industrializing at the same time protecting our environment. So once we finalize the list of the DNR lands in every region, we're going to invite PHILEA and our industry association so that your prospective members and prospective investors can choose, no, which to locate, no. So ganun ang approach natin. So we achieve multiple benefits. We industrialize, we spread the investment, we spread the jobs and livelihood. We utilize responsibly the land and the natural resources, no? So yun po ang ating programa. So we are in a hurry because Secretary Jim is about to end his term also with the president in June 30. No? So at least we can already have a listing of all these public lands under DNR. And by the way, it's not only DNR. No, we also have MOU with CAAP because CAAP has vacant lands beside the airports that we will also convert as aerotropolis or ecozones. No? Then we also have MOU with the NCIP so that we can utilize also properly into ecozones the ancestral domain lands. So our indigenous peoples will no longer be victims of exploitation, you know. And then also the armed forces of the Philippines, because they have the military reservation areas that we also program to become defense industrial complexes. And then our state universities and colleges and private universities and colleges. We have here the University of Perpetual Help College, the Tamayos, no? they are now their school or their university is among the pioneer KIST parks that we are opening up for the universities and colleges, private and public or state. Then we also have an MOU with PISAM. PISAM is a bureau of the DOE. So they have plenty of vacant lands where the power, the anong tawag doon? Yung ano nila, yung mga power plants, no, where the power plants of the DOE are located, no. So these are land properties under PISAM. So they also wanted it to become economic zones. So siguro mas mura ang power kasi nandyan yung power plants eh. No? So this we're going to complete this inventory of public lands managed by different agencies of the government, so we can make this into different types of ecozones and attract different types of industries. So with that, we will fully industrialize the country, hopefully in an environment-friendly way. Okay.
Thank you, DG Ching. I want to add something. In the memorandum of agreement, DNR and PEZA agreed to conduct consultations with the regional development councils to ensure that prospective ecozone locators will be assured that the investment policies of a particular region are taken into account when they decide to invest, so that you all the information that you need in deciding what particular venture an interested applicant would go, whether it's agroforestry, agroindustrial, mineral processing, or ecotourism in beach foreshore areas or in protected areas. And aside from that, pursuant to the instruction of Secretary Jim Sampolna, in the MOU, we also indicated that the parties are supposed to consult with the forestry and mining industry organizations. So we are very thankful that the Philippine Wood Producers Association is present, no? Sir, Mr. Ramon Oy. Yes, thank you for being here, because that is an instruction of the secretary for us to consult you directly, as well as the Chamber of Mines of the Philippines. We were supposed to consult them also. So perhaps not in this venue, but we will be asking you to come to a smaller group meeting with us, PEZA, and the legal office of DNR held represented by Yusek Adobo, sir. And you're also required to consult with stakeholders. For example, in Caraga region, where there are areas that maybe have been covered by tenurial instruments issued by the NCIP, we will be assisting you in consulting the indigenous peoples and indigenous communities to ensure that there is a smooth flow of processing of your documents if you're already signified interest. So rest assured that once there is an ecozone established already, the same team, the same faces that who are here will be there assisting you all the way, because we have really recognized that conservation and protection of the environment is viable in an ecozone area. So with that, I would like to thank especially the PWPA and also if the Chamber of Mines represented here, as well as the other interested parties in coming to this event. So thank you.
Sir, thank you very much to our, do you have any additional, Sir Theo? All right, thank you again very much to our principals who are with us today, DG Plaza, Yusek Adobo, Asek Michelle, and of course, the DG Teo. Indeed, it has been a very fruitful discussion we have. So that concludes today's press conference. We thank our media partners and our principals and guests for your presence in this dialogue. And that ends today's event. On behalf of PESA and DENR, we sincerely thank you all for your valuable presence this morning. To quote our Director General, Ecozone Development the PESA way. So hand in hand, let us continue to make it happen in the Philippines by promoting Galing Pinas, Galing Pinas. Made in the Philippines is the best, and the Philippines is best to invest in. Stay safe. Maraming salamat po, and mabuhay po tayong lahat. Yeah, we have prepared a modest lunch for our guests who are staying with us at this lunchtime. Thank you. Onward.